Hello everyone. Alright, it's been a while. I've been busy and tired and busy. I started playing Valheim, so I haven't been around much. But I did make some progress learning about the GameplayAbilitySystem. I'm going to actually look at... What did I look to? I'm going to look at two systems here. I'm going to look at the ActionRPG system, which was the thing written by Epic to kind of demonstrate the ability system for one, and some of the mobile stuff, and some other things. But yeah, let's take a look at theirs. It's still a bit cloudy. I watched like a 3-hour video by their tech writer on the ability system. It's pretty complicated. There's a lot of moving parts. So let's figure out some of those. So my understanding as of now, excuse me, is there's kind of like 3 or 4 major components. There's gameplay abilities, there's gameplay effects, there's like gameplay cues, gameplay tasks, target types. So there's way more. Attribute sets, and you have to kind of tie all these things into containers, and it kind of just does your head in. In fact, it took me probably 2 hours just to figure out where this data was coming from. This is magnifier. This is the kind of default like health levels, like max health and max mana for this character in their version of the game. If we zoom in here, so you can see that there's this gameplay effect. It has durations. So they're called modifiers. So we have attribute name modifiers, and then you can kind of determine how they modify stuff. You can make them scalable floats or based off other attributes or custom calculation classes. And yeah, you can apply these to a character. But I could not, for the life of me, figure out how they were applying these base stats to the character when you press play. Super loud. Anyway, so you can see I added some debug stuff just to figure out what was going on. And again, it was taking me forever, so I was looking at like references and a bunch of other stuff. Hold on. As you can see, I am prepared. Right. Okay. So these stats base, if we again play, so we have the health mana bar at the bottom. Each character has this ability, and it's all kind of tied into the anim montages, which are the actual effects or animations. But yeah, for me, the first thing I want to do is link up the base stats that I have from my character sheets to my characters. And so I need to figure out how to take an attribute set, which is the health, the energy, armor, shield, and actually apply that to my character through the ability system. So I looked at their base stat stuff. I'm like, okay, this kind of makes sense. You have the attributes for like health and mana or whatever. But what the heck references this? So I look at the reference viewer, and I'll bring up the magnifier again. So we have the stats base, which is actually reading from the starting stats. So they're reading it from a data table. So if we, can I just go to that reference? Browse to asset, cool. Starting stats, so they're reading it from a data table, much like I am. Mine's just a little bit more complicated, but they just have they have it based on levels. So each level you rank up, you'll increase in whatever. But I don't have that, I don't care. But I do care how these stats and where they come from. 1 second. I'm wondering if there's a problem because someone just messaged me on Discord. Hold on. Nope. Okay. Wait. No. Yeah. Fine. Anyways. God, it's been a day. Okay. So we have the curve table, which has the starting stats. We have the game effect stats base, which is being read by player stats and the spider stats. and the goblin stats. So this is all fine. So each character is reading from that stats table depending on their level, or depending on the abilities that they're going to get applied to them. That player stats is being referenced by the BP player character. So I'm like, okay, so how are those abilities sets being loaded to the character? And if we go to browse to assets, actor character, do not need this anymore. So I was looking through all of their blueprints of like, okay, where is it? Is it like on begin play? Is it like some sort of events? It's just like, nope, just tickable when paused, get player camera, like nothing here. And I was just racking my brain, and I'm like, okay, I will look at the, what is it? Hold on, let me zoom out here. Look at the C++, see if I can find anything in there. So if we go to their code for RPG character, make that a little bigger, that a little smaller, there's actually like nothing. All it has is the attribute set, which kind of makes sense. It has the starting health and mana and whatever. That gets applied to your character through a ability system component, but there's nothing there. It's just like, it just has an interface that you'd call on your character for get ability system component. So I couldn't figure that out. Look through the character base itself to see if I could find it in any of this stuff, and nope, nothing there. Until you go back to this character, and you have to look on the right side of exposed properties, U properties, and they have somewhere, I can't even find it when I know abilities. And here, passive gameplay effects, which is applied on creation. That's where I could finally find it. So now I know what to do. So yeah, it was quite an experience, and I still only ported some of the gameplay ability stuff over, not all of it. I'm still in the process of doing that, but I'm like trying to get this part set up right now. But before that, I want to cover what I screwed up in the last stream, because I screwed something up. So let's make sure our server's running. Yep, it is running. Let me get more comfortable. Okay, so let's press play. Let's get our server going. Connect, create group. There's my other one. So we are going to demonstrate how, depending on how many tiles you move, the animation should take different times. Before, I had them all going at the same time. So depending, even if it was moving one tile and one was moving 10 tiles, it would be exactly the same amount of time that was taken to traverse the spline. And I could not, for the life of me, figure out why it wasn't working. I was trying to do it with, so you can see now that depending on the distance you go, you get different times. And now what's really nice is I also got the stealth coming in properly. So we'll demonstrate with this character. And we'll go back up here. Also, I fixed this character. This character didn't have the proper material applied, so it's doing the proper kind of thingy. Motions. All right, so we should see this character stealth in. Like so. And we also want them to, oh, this is the guy. We want them to disappear when they go into a stealth spot. And then we want them to reappear when they come out of a stealth spot. And you have to kind of track a few things, because while we can make the character stealth, the UMG, I didn't bother like stealthing that or using, I forget what, I'll show the material in a second that I used, but so you can see we kind of make it disappear that way. So that all works. And then if they go from a stealth spot to another stealth spot, we should see them unstealth and then re-stealth, if everything works properly. And I don't remember which way I'm going. So we'll look at everything. I think I'm going down this route here. Yeah, so that's pretty much the stealth and movement done, which is why I started moving over to the gameplay ability stuff. So, yeah. So yeah, there you go. It all works. Hooray. So how the stealth works, did I make a material? No, I had to change the material type and set opacity and do a dither temporal AA for setting an opacity mask. This is a dynamic parameter that I can change. Let me just, what am I doing? Where's my magnifier? Magnifier. Right, so it's just a simple parameter that we pass into this dither temporal, which we then set for the opacity mask. And I had to change this material from, what was it, this part. The blend mode from opaque, or was it translucent? I think it was opaque, but you have to set that to masked if you want this pin to show up, and then you can apply the opacity mask. So now that all works, and I had to apply that. I think some of the other characters are not using this base material, so I had to apply it to them as well. But once I figured that out, because one of my character wasn't stealthing, I'm like, what? I was just banging my head, and it's because it was a different material. So yeah, check your materials. So with that out of the way, let's take a look at how I modify that opacity parameter dynamically. That's the server. That is ActionRPG. I do that from stupid motorcycles. Close this for a bit. Where do I do that? Base character. So how the stealth works is, and the timing. I'm just jumping all over the place. All right, so when we move the character, I am now no longer really using I am using the movement curve. Before I was trying to add key points to each of the tile movements, which does not work as far as I can tell. It just did not honor my keys. So what I ended up doing was, in fact, counting the actual number of movement points just to get a certain amount of the tiles that it has to move across. I then iterate over, and then I just do the same set location stuff. And then if I make sure that if it's an opponent and it has points greater than 0, then I process the stealth because, see what I need to do for that. And the way that I process stealth is I check if the first point is null and they're hidden, then I have to unstealth the character. If the last point is null and they're not hidden, then I have to stealth the character. So that's how I track those things. Now for the actual movement, I take the number of points and then I multiply that by the number time per tile, which I think is 4 or something. And then I just divide that by 1. So I'm setting the play rate here. So this is what actually, regardless of your movement curve or whatever points you have on your curve, which didn't work for me anyways, I'm just setting the play rate to be slower. So the more points, the slower that it's going to set the play rate at. So that's how I got that to finally work after much headbanging. But yeah, so getting the number of points, which I was doing incorrectly in the last stream, and then setting the play rate is how I fixed that. And then process stealth. There's a couple of things on stealth character. That's what I want. So if you remember, I had that scalar parameter value of opacity. You can just, as long as the material is dynamic, you can get that value and then just set it. So then I'm setting it based off of the timeline. So the timeline is applied to the character, which is, microphone's in my way, I can't see. Applied to the character, which is BP base character. It's just a simple curve of just points 0 to 1. That's it. But I could change it if I wanted to. But that's how that's there. So from the timeline, when the timeline kicks off, which happens, so maybe in my outline, process stealth. So process stealth, I'm literally just setting it to the as it's ticking that timeline, it's giving me a new value, and I just set the scalar parameter to that value, the opacity of it. And the same kind of works for movement. Movements, is it the same? Yeah, it's giving you a new value across the spline. So, or you just multiply it across the distance of the spline. So yeah, right here. Look, get location, yeah, time times spline length. So that's how those timelines work for that. And then there was a little bit of weirdness of like tracking when they're unstealthing, when they are stealth, when they need to stealth in the end, and just trial and error. I got it to finally work. So yeah, and then notifying once we're complete so I can start the next round. So that is stealth timelines and movement timelines and all my dumb bugs fixed. So I'm pretty happy. Now, where I'm at is getting these attribute sets to work, or at least to be applied. And the ability system was very much built for proper Unreal networking, so it has a lot of built-in replication, which I'm not using. So I have to be a little bit creative in how I'm using this. Like, for example, when you play in a montage of someone swinging a sword or something, you would have a sphere hit trace, which would hit an actor, which would kick off various cues or whatever of the ability system. Where I don't really have that, I have to. The server's telling me when I hit someone, so they're just gonna be like, "Hey, you hit this character." I'll be like, okay, and then I have to go like somehow kick off this whole ability system based on what the server's telling me. And there's these interesting things called like target types, and that's where that information is kind of set. So you're determining like who's getting hit from where and the results of the hit. Again, this is usually like trace results, either a sphere, block, or whatever, box or whatever. But I'm I don't know how to synthesize. I'm gonna have to synthesize these hit results probably, but whatever. I can figure that out later. So, so the main part of the ability system is first you have your character. You have to apply a ability system component, and they recommend you just override the default class, which is AbilitySystem component. And you, again, I'm still all learning this stuff, but you have to expose some stuff like getting the ability system component from the actor so that other hits can read from it, and then get active abilities with tags. So the tag system is very important here, where you can have, it's a hierarchical system of tags of like status dotted, and then you could have if they have this gameplay ability called status dotted, then don't apply another dot. So it's just a way of kind of managing all the different active abilities or states that a character or characters can have applied to them at a time. And also just for looking, you could make it like, let's say status immune, and then they wouldn't be able to take damage. So you can look all those tags up if they're active. So I'm probably going to have to create the gameplay tags as a data table, and then assign that some integer value, and then recreate the integer values on the server. The server will basically do the same thing, where it's going to have to translate those IDs to gameplay tags, and then have, long story short, I'm going to have to write a lot of the ability system stuff on the server in Go. So that's going to be a little bit more work than I was anticipating, but I mean, it kind of makes sense. Like, I have the movement component on the server, so it makes sense to have the ability system component on the server as well, so I can handle all of it centrally. And it's going to be doing all the determination anyway, so yeah, makes sense to have it there. But yeah, so ability system component gets applied to the character, usually as a default object on construction, which I actually haven't done yet. I should probably do that. Well, it doesn't matter. I don't even have it applied yet. Gameplay ability. So they have these like containers, which I still don't fully understand. Tags to effects, which kind of makes sense. You have a map of them. But yeah, there's just a lot of stuff. So I just took this from the ActionRPG system, copied it into here, renamed all the classes to be my type of classes. So I haven't actually tested any of this stuff yet. This is all very much just boilerplate from their system. So it probably doesn't work at all, but whatever. So attribute set is what I'm trying to figure out now, because that's the most important, because once I have the attributes applied to the characters, then I can actually update all those UI bars with health and stuff, and it'll make it easier to test when I start implementing the abilities. So, and what I plan on doing is applying the abilities just in UE4 first, just to get like FX, Niagara FX going, and show that it can take damage and update the state of the character through the gameplay ability system in isolation. Once I have that working and I know all those components work, then I'll move that logic over to the server, and then I can deal with it, because I don't want to have to, it's going to take a lot of debugging, and I don't have to like start a server, start two things, click a bunch of buttons, and then get the round to go, and then it's just going to take forever to do that. So I'm very much looking forward to not doing that. Right, so ability sets, yeah, so you have to add a bunch of macros, which generates a bunch of garbage for you. I don't know what this stuff does. But yeah, pre-attribute change, post-gameplay. So you can like do things before they're applied or after they're applied. I don't know if there's anything interesting in there yet. Oh, this is where it has... yeah, attribute for max. No, it's adjust attributes. Post gameplay effect execute. I think this is where it checks the attribute that's being modified, and then just goes through a bunch of setting the values and stuff. It's kind of a convoluted process of handling stuff. So yeah, hopefully this will all work, and then I'm gonna have shield stuff, energy, armor. All these attributes are gonna be modifiable, and then in movement distance as well. And I think those are the only attributes that I'm going to need, but who knows? Maybe I'll want to add stuff later on. All right, and then gameplay ability. Oh no, I already covered that one. Target type already covered. Yeah, so it's all I have now. I mean, ability data. Oh, this is my ability system that I haven't really ported over. That's going to be interesting. I don't know how this is going to work. Anyways, what I want to do now is, in theirs, did I close it? No, I did not. They have this passive gameplay effects thing where they could choose that GE player stats. I want to get that just so I can... Actually, do I need to expose it from Blueprint? Because I'm going to have to load this stuff anyways dynamically from the server. Oh no, it doesn't have to be from the server. But I'm loading it. Okay, I don't think I need it, but I don't need it in the blueprint, but I do need it on character creation, because when I initialize the character with the character data that's coming from, oh, did I crash? No. Oh, there it goes. Sorry, I'll crash there. When I get the character data on creating it, I have to set a bunch of stuff. And where was my data? I believe I assigned this data to, oh yeah, character data, first line. So I have all the ability information that I'll need to be able to pass to that kind of passive gameplay abilities component that I do not have as a class property right now. I think passive this thing. So I need this. Passive gameplay effects applied on creation. Where was that? Is it protected? Yeah. Protected. I really don't need these on mouse over. Oh, maybe I do. I don't know. Anyways. So now past gameplay effects, I need to figure out how they are reading in that data. I know how they're executing it because I remember stepping through the code. What is it? Passive game. Yeah, so this add startup gameplay abilities. This is where it's being set. Oh, this is what I do. I do it here. Okay. So maybe I don't need to have the T subclass of. I might need to just, because I think it's only got one, right? Yeah, it's only got one, that GE player stats. So if I have a gameplay effect, how's this going to work? Gameplay effect. I think it's just modifiers is what I need to give it, but I don't know what else it's behind the scenes adding to that. So gameplay effect has duration policy. Okay, it looks like mainly stuff I don't need to implement. Okay. Ooh, there's a lot of stuff in here. Yeah, I don't know how this is going to work with... Well, anyways, passive stuff doesn't matter because it is just attributes. So it's weird, like your gameplay effect is what gives you attribute sets, I guess. I don't know. Anyways, okay. I don't think I need that, but I think I might need to create them. I need to create one. Do I need to keep a reference to it? I don't think I do. Alright, so what calls, and there's that function at startup. That is called from possess. Okay, so they do it, so they have a proper character where they have possession, whereas mine are just actors that are just dumb little actors. So I will probably do this on startup, which is initialize for me. So mine is initialize. Oh man, initialize is doing so much. Ooh. All right, whatever. If AbilitySystem components. Yep, we have to call that. I remember watching some video where they said you have to put that in, and then add startup game abilities. It actually goes to the other. That's funny. It goes to the other project. How does it know? RPG base character, and then I need to. I don't really care about that's networking stuff. So I'm just gonna put it right here. It was void, right? Yeah. Void a base character. So we don't have slotted abilities because we don't have items yet. B abilities. Why is it referencing the other? It's so weird. All right. A base character. Check the ability system component. Don't care about roles. Again, that is networking stuff. Replication, I don't care about. I do not have startup abilities. And I don't have a T subclass of, but I do need to create gameplay effects from the data. Character data. So this does not need to be a loop. So gameplay effects. Is it F gameplay effects? U gameplay effects. Let's just call them start abilities. Also, this is whatever. So if that's a U class, I need to create new objects. how do you manually create a gameplay effect without having a crash? Because I have no idea. Start abilities. Why is it? Is this already referenced? That was weird. Well, let's do this. Let's just make sure this compiles first, and then it should give me the better IntelliSense. And I'm going to comment this out. Did I add? I don't think this is actually added. Defined. Oh man, did I delete it from the other? I might have deleted it from the other one. Hold on. Where is ActionRPG? ActionRPG. I absolutely deleted it. Oh, maybe I didn't. Alright. I don't know what I deleted. Scary. Oh. Oh, wait. And I didn't actually add the file. Or definition. Void. Oh my god, why do I keep alt tabbing? Void. Let's start gameplay abilities. I guess this is going to throw up. We shall see. Also, it's wicked hot in here. So far, at least parsed properly. Alright, so we create a new gameplay effect. Then we need to basically just apply that. Character level does not matter. Outgoing spec. I don't even know what that is. Effect handle, that I remember. Oh yeah, look at that, compile. Okay, so we can create start abilities. You know what? I bet it's because I'm running two enormous code bases that the language server has crashed. Let's close all these. Don't think I need the server. Okay, give me some IntelliSense love here. Loading. Loading. Why did IntelliSense die? Oh, colors changed. That's progress. Where is it getting that? From group message? Dude, you're reading from... Like, is this even... Where is this coming from? Why are you giving me unrelated stuff? Let's just call this X. Oh, yeah, it's just giving me everything. Alright, whatever. Maybe it doesn't understand what new object is doing, but it should still know. Oh! No. If it compiled, it should know. Or maybe it doesn't know. Gameplay effects. Do I need to... Oh, shit, I closed it. Alright, whatever. So yeah, the goal here will be to pass this effect. Let's just pass something null, I don't care. Or something that's not set up and see what happens. What am I doing? This I don't understand. Start abilities. That's fine. handle, make sure that's valid, apply to the ability system component. And what does this make outgoing spec? Make outgoing spec takes an effect class, a level, and a context. Does it matter if I just pass it a 1? I mean, I imagine it's for scaling purposes. You'd want to scale off the level, so 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. But it is not telling me. So I'm just going to put 1. 1. Actually, let's just call this. So I know what the heck this is. Let me just see a 1. Yeah, let's see if a completely empty gameplay effect works. Oh. Spec handle, make outgoing spec to blah blah blah. Const cannot run a game effect star to T subclass of. It needs a T subclass of. Why? T subclass of gameplay effect. So the only time I've really used T subclass of is when I'm applying stuff from blueprints. Or from, from blueprints. It's just a way to get like a reference of the class. I've never actually had to make one. Ugh, I'm too tired for this. I think I'm going to have to read up on how to create these in a pragmatic kind of way and not use it from blueprints because I don't want to use blueprints for this because I already have the data. It doesn't make sense. Oh man, yeah, that sucks. Alright, well, that will be the next stream when I'm actually awake because I'm exhausted. So yeah, a little bit short one today, but I just wanted to show I'm still working on it, still making some progress, albeit slower. But yeah, I think once I wrap my head around this ability system, things will pick up the pace again, but it's going to be a bit of a slog until I get there. So yeah, I think that's it for tonight. I wish I could do these earlier, but yeah, life doesn't really work out that way. But anyways, hope anybody watched, had fun, learned something. Until next time. Bye.